Hi everyone, my name is Dr. Lynn Carey, and I thought I would discuss today just how we heal, how our body works. And it really is reprogramming your thinking because from the day we were born, we were taught to think that we don't have what it takes to heal ourselves. We actually never hear the word that we heal ourselves. At least I didn't. Everything is outside in. From once even a woman is getting pregnant, once she's pregnant, she's getting ultrasounds constantly. I never had an ultrasound during my pregnancy because I believe it's harmful to the baby. I believe it's like shattering waves that disrupts them while they're inside in utero. I don't like when women are showing off their ultrasound pictures. They're so excited. I'm like, it's not good for the baby. And they're not taught. Women aren't taught to trust their bodies that they can give birth. So they have so much fear around it if they're not in a hospital and given numbing drugs, given a needle, because, and I see some people who want to go natural, but they have no mental prep to go through it. And I think that's just recipe for disaster. I really believe you have to be a little bit evolved and a little bit in tune with your body to have a home birth. People are so afraid of pain that they don't know what to do with it when it hits. And so right away, we're not taught to trust our bodies. We are given drugs to numb ourselves for the birth process. Women are laying on their backs in a hospital, which is so bizarre to me because when I had my son, the most painful place for me, I couldn't lay down. I had to be up. I had to be upright. I remember sitting on a toilet because I was in labor for like 3 days, walking around the house. I had to walk around or sit up. And eventually I gave birth sitting on a birthing chair, which makes sense because you're using gravity, right? For the baby to come out. But I see what they do in the hospital and it's just so bizarre to me. And then they right away are putting drugs in the baby's eyes, the vaccines, and it's just so harsh. And a hospital, we're born in a place of death and dying. That's just weird. Hospitals are a place of disease and sickness. I mean, if you just go in there, if you're in tune at all, you feel sick when you walk into a hospital. Like my whole body shuts down. I don't ever go to those places unless I have to. It's usually because I had to visit someone. And even then, because my mother was in there, I had to go in, but otherwise I won't go in those places. It's awful. And, I see the difference when someone is raised not in that world. It's really harsh because my son, you should have seen my son's reaction. He's 15 years old. He's never even been to a doctor. He doesn't do any of that stuff. Walking into a hospital when he was visiting my mom, he was like, what in the world? It was like he walked in Mars because he's like, this is so weird. So can you imagine if we were all raised to think the medical world is weird? We would be a very healthy society. So, and think about it. The US was like one of the worst places for disease. Highest rates of disease here in the US, which we're supposed to be the most prosperous country. Of course, we're in turmoil right now, but supposedly back in the day, right? Well, they're always coming up with a new disease. Why? Because big pharma runs the medical world. It runs the medical schools. They're not taught how the body heals itself. They're taught to get a label, get all the symptoms that somebody has and label it with a disease. If you understand, so you would come into this world, right? Just think of a sperm and an egg coming together and it creates a human. Right there, you should know that there's a higher power creating and running this world. Just as the sun comes up every day, we don't control that, right? That's how your body, it heals itself. That same energy that as a chiropractor, we would call it universal intelligence or God or life force, whatever you want to call it, that makes the sun come up every day and the moon come out every night and the stars come out and all these things happen, runs our body. So if you learn to honor the energy flow in your body, and that's all it is, it's an energy flow. You're either flowing, you're always in motion. You're either flowing towards ease and health and well-being and happiness, or dis-ease, disease, sickness, depression, all that kind of stuff on the lower vibration. That's all it is. It's energy. How are you flowing your energy? I don't care what label they give the dis-ease in your body. If we would break free of the labels. It's so funny because I'll have people right along with me say, yeah, that makes sense. But what about Lyme? What about cancer? I'm like, it's still a label. It's still a label. You still have more faith because of the programming. You still have more belief in the label of the disease than you do in your body's ability to heal itself. So just contemplate every day. that your eyes are blinking without your control. You're breathing without your control. Your hair is growing without your control. Your nails are growing without your control, right? Without you consciously doing it. Your heart's beating, your kidneys are working, your liver is doing like a 500 functions. You can't, the blood's pumping around your body. Like, think about that. Can you imagine consciously trying to control that every day? You can't. The best way is to get in tune with your flow, recognize how you're breathing, how you're thinking. It's your thoughts create reality. They control your body. So if you're feeling stressed, you're creating dis-ease in your body. Every symptom is a result of not thinking properly and not thinking in the healing way and not thinking in happiness. So if you're in a bad relationship, if you're going to a job you hate every day, you are creating a pattern of stress, and eventually it leads to dis-ease in your body, dis-ease, disease, that eventually probably a doctor could label as some disease that they can drug or cut out, because that's all they know how to do is drug it or cut it out. So when you don't want drugs anymore, you don't want something cut out of your body because we don't have spare parts. We're not machines. You start to learn to get in tune with the energy flow. You start becoming in tune with how you're breathing, how you're thinking every day, the activities you partake in, the people you stay around, because you're very particular about the energy you're around and how you're flowing yours and what is affecting you. So I always tell people, you have to play detective. What in your life is out of balance? That's how you create health. By being the happiest you can be and doing all fun stuff and things that make you happy creates health and happiness. But, a lot of us are programmed to think that we have to be struggling to be successful. That's kind of the opposite. That's why so many people are sick. That's why you see people who have all this success, sometimes they drop dead of a heart attack because they're not really happy. And there's a disconnect between happiness and a purpose in the world and work and relationships. It's time we unify all that and create this dynamic flow that we're meant to be. Magical healers, creators, inventors. Like, we are here to have fun, to be happy, to become our best selves. So that's the world we're moving into. I know it. So it's time to start doing that for yourself. It's so important. And you don't have to live in fear anymore of some outside thing getting you and making you sick. You have control of your mind and your health. You're in tune with yourself. That's amazing. So I hope that you got something out of this today. I thank you for watching. Make it an amazing day, an amazing week.